Hello and welcome back to the channel of Motorbike Nonsense. I'm Tim, I'm in Spain and the sun is beating down on my bald head like a swarm of angry bees. But hey, we're here with the new updated for 2023 BMW R1250RS. What is the BMW R1250RS? Well, I spent some time with one a few years ago and it kind of feels like a more road-focused version of, say, the GS. I think it's a better road bike than the GS. I know it's quite a controversial thing to say, you've probably clicked away already, and you're typing furiously with your beard and your metal panniers saying, what a load of nonsense, the best road GS is a GS, not an RS. But anyway, the changes are mostly under the skin for this. Yeah, you get some more standard fit electronics, you get cornering traction control, cornering ABS, as you now get on the R1250R, which I've got a video of somewhere up there as well. You now get a USB socket here, you get LED indicators, and that's about the sum total of the changes. Oh yeah, if you don't get the pillion pack, you can get a seat cowl for extra sportiness, although it must be about the size of 3 dinner plates, because that is a big ass comfortable looking pillion seat. Don't worry, I wasn't filming me. But anyway, in terms of price, this stretches from about £13,000 to £15,000. That's for the top spec SE one, which gets things like the quick shifter, the semi-active suspension, other bits and pieces. That's probably the one you want, to be honest. But I've done enough talking already. I hope you've admired my socks and my shoes and my shorts, and I'm going to hop on in some slightly more appropriate gear and hit the twisty roads near here in Mahaka and find out if it's still a damn decent road bike. Right, we're starting off on the R1250RS, but the riding position, let's just get that out of the way first. It is reasonably sporty. The pegs aren't ridiculously high, but there is a bit of a reach forward to the bars, and I know from riding this bike before, that actually puts you in a really nice position for faster speeds. You feel a bit supported, and then the screen can pop up and down into 2 positions there. It's got really lovely BMW span adjustable brake and clutch levers, and yeah, it just feels like all BMW box twins. Just very solid. The weight is very low down, concentrated in that mass of an engine. And yeah, well, let's get cracking.
Look at that. Would you look at that sea, that sky, and ah, gorgeous. Whoa! Just got the back end to slide. I think these roads are quite dusty. Right, we've done some boring miles around town. I just want to say the boring things first. The fueling lowdown on this bike is as silky smooth as you would expect. The fueling is just perfect, basically, from low down. It pulls 3rd gear at really low speeds, and it's just super smooth and super lovely at low speeds. You don't have to get into first very often. It's just nice. It's got that nice rumble. It feels good. So yeah, ergonomically around town, there's no real weight on your wrists, so you don't feel like you're riding a sports bike, and you don't feel like you're gonna have to have your wrists attached to your hips as little wings later in life. So yeah, all good. We're gonna get some twisty and hopefully grippier roads. I wasn't expecting to have a little rear end slide off that roundabout, but here we are. That's what you get with 143 newton meters of torque from 6,250 RPM. The screen on this bike has 2 positions. You adjust it by doing that. And basically the lower version of that is putting the wind on my neck. I'm 6'3", and the higher position puts the wind on my face. This view is very distracting. Look at this. Other things to report: the back brake is useful and is actually reasonably strong, and you can actually use it to drag in corners, and it actually slows you down a little bit. Decent back brake. This is a very twisty road, and I'm not getting masses of confidence yet through the front end, which, you know, this bike is a normal front end. It hasn't got a telelever or a power lever or a cantilever or whatever. It's just regular forks, and that is what you get. But I'm still not feeling oodles of confidence. We're on Michelin Road 5 tyres, and I've already had a little slide off them. I've got everything in dynamic now, so that's the suspension and the rider mode, which sharpens the throttle response. And I have to say, it's not massively sharp still, the throttle response, which is nice. Coming out hairpins with all the torque you've got on tap on this bike, it's still an easy bike to ride in dynamic mode. You're not having to kind of pussyfoot around and think, oh crap, I wish I was in standard throttle mode for this series of icy corners or whatever. It feels fine, and also the suspension firms up a bit in dynamic mode, but it's still not jarring, and it also doesn't turn it into a race bike or a sports bike. It's one of those bikes that likes to flow between corners, and if that is your road roading style? Roadie style, it's my roadie style. If that's your riding style, you'll find this bike really rewarding, and I've been really enjoying like working on my road positioning, my lines and all that, and this just holds a line really nicely. It steers really neutrally and quite quickly when you want it to, just without the faith that you would get from something, I don't know, something a little bit sportier, I guess is what I'm getting at. It doesn't feel like an out and out sports tourer, but it is certainly quick, and when we get some clear roads I'll open it up, because boy does the shift cam shift. Ugh, I can't believe I said that. Things I don't like, I'm starting to feel my palms a little bit. I said you don't get much weight on your wrists on this, but my palms, like, I don't know, they're starting to hurt a little bit. I think the grips are quite hard on this. They are heated, and I've got heated seat as well. I'm not going to test that because it's 22 degrees and I'm sweaty, but it's a very easy bike. It's a very easy bike, and it's got overtaking stonk for days, and it's one of those bikes that might not excite, but it does everything very, very well. So we're doing 60 now as well, and the wind noise is okay. It's not too bad. As I said earlier, the screen is just firing it at my neck, but that's fine. There we go. There's some oomph from that shift cam unit. The quick shifter, like on all BMW Boxer Twins I've ridden, works better higher up in the rev range, but it's still not a seamless, smooth experience. You still feel as if you're interrupting two colossal pistons with your foot, which isn't, you know, necessarily the smoothest thing in the world. It's a bit agricultural, but it makes a good noise. It's like I'm riding through Tatooine or somewhere from Star Wars, and there's going to be some Tusken Raiders and Jawas and I don't know, sand people. That sounds a little bit racist these days, doesn't it? You probably can't call them sand people anymore. Alec Guinness, you dead man. You were great in Bridge on the River Kwai though. And I have a feeling you served in the Second World War, so you're probably a bit of a leg end as well. But anyway, that's not what you came to listen to me talk about. It's the BMW R1250RS. Okay, we are riding ein bisschen mehr dynamic now. And the bike responds quite well to being pushed. By which I mean to say, if you start moving your bum off the seat and start being a bit more aggressive with your braking into turns, it doesn't get flustered. It actually says, actually, I can take that. I'm not the soft granddad touring bike. You might think by looking at me, and that's been true of all BMW tourer type things, hasn't it? This might not feel sporty initially, but when you start giving it some, as I'm currently not, annoyingly, for this bit of the video, it's pretty decent. The brakes are strong, the lever feel is pretty good. I've got the confidence to like pick my lines. It's decent, and the punch out the corners is it's just lovely. If you've ridden a BMW shift cam Boxer engine, you'll know what they're about. They are just really quite nice. Here we go, we're actually going a bit faster now. Lovely jubbly. Yeah, you just got to work on the feel and get used to the fact there isn't loads coming back at you through the bars or through the seat. It's designed more for comfort than out and out scratchingness. Suspension and dynamic, there's not too much weight transfer onto the front when you're braking hard. I'm going to give this, for sporty riding, I'm going to give it 7.5 Tim Roadies out of 10. Lacking in feel, but very competent, and a bit too noisy because of that screen. But I literally have problems with every screen on every bike. Why wasn't the down blipper working then? I had to take that in fourth. That was suboptimal. Right, we've just stopped to do video. There's Chopsy going, go on, get your knee down, mate. The black plastic down the centre of the tank, I don't know if you can see, but it is already, I think the technical term is scuffed to buggery. It's caca. Almost semi-gloss black plastic. So if there's a colourway that doesn't have that, I'm not sure there is, yeah, I wouldn't get that, because we'll get a tank protector on it. Yeah, that's the grown-up solution. Don't just whinge about it. Right, I'm coming to the end of my time with the BMW R1250RS, and I have to say, I've gelled with it a little bit more now, but it still doesn't give me oodles of confidence. But as an all-round package for touring, commuting, using every day, I would say this is a pretty decent bike. You can scratch on it, you can stomp out corners with the torque of the Boxer Twin. It's got all the toys you might want. It's got gizmos, it's got lean angle sensors, it's got an IMU now, it's got lean sensitive ABS and traction control. So many words coming out of my mouth, because if you get the SE model, this has got spec for days, fam, and it's really impressive. It's really impressive. Is it exciting? No, not really, but did you expect it to be? It's more than quick enough for road riding. It is just it's just very BMW. It's nice, it's good, it feels reasonably well built. I would say that plastic on the tank here is a bit disappointing. Brakes are good. I love the dash. I still think BMW has the best digital dashboard in the business. The only slight fly in the ointment is I'm about to ride the R1250R, which is very similar to this bike except it's naked, and that gives me a lot more confidence than this does. I've only ridden it briefly, so my front end woes on this are slightly fixed by the naked version. There's going to be a video on that coming very soon. So anyway, thank you for watching. I'm going to go and have a coffee now at Al Marie, except I don't drink coffee, so that's a lie. And I shall see you next time. Let's overtake Dr. Alex George. That's the limiter. Oh, I remember this bridge. Did this road on the Yamaha R7 launch. Let's go. A little addendum to this video. The lady riding the bike in front is Katie, I can't remember her surname. She is a bona fide stunt woman who does motorbike stunts for film, only does film, and car stunts and actual kung fu stunts and that kind of crap. She's one of the coolest people I have met. She was Catwoman in whatever the latest woman with Catwoman riding a motorbike was, and she's done like big wheelies in front of Tower Bridge and all that kind of stuff. Has done an upcoming Indiana Jones film, did the last James Bond film. She is effing awesome and cool, and I wish I had half of her style, frankly. Not even half, a tenth of her style. I think she's a bit bananas, but then you probably have to be. Yeah, I presume I'm going the right way still. Yeah, you can definitely hustle this. Nice.